from Kampala, Uganda.
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IUM.
Good evening and welcome to Today on One. I'm Maggie Forciero. In the news tonight, rejected ballots were supposed to be accepted, says Muyaro. 2 women caught up in a web of lies over a man. Shootout between police and suspected criminals in Commersdal. Grootfontein High School learner back in the hostel. Agra provision to host online farming courses. And Roundup Business on One, Comments Corner, Sports and the weather. Theo Muyaro, the Chief Electoral Officer of the Electoral Commission of Namibia, has expressed the ECN's view on the Electoral Court's recent order in reference to the Kavango East Regional Council elections for Ndonga-Linena constituency, which took place last year.
When the APP approached the court to request that they be given access to certain number of rejected ballot papers, it was also the first time some of us as ECN to see some of the anomalies, some of the errors and mistakes that were committed, because keep in mind that the Electoral Commission does not have the right or the powers to access ballot papers or election materials in the absence of a court order. So we did not even know, what are these things that the APP was talking about until the 12th of July this year, when we gave them access to this material. That is where we noted that indeed there were issues pertaining to the counting process. Clearly, I have seen ballot papers that were deemed to be rejected ballot papers in terms of by the presiding officers. But I think in terms of the law, some of these ballot papers were supposed to have been accepted as having been cast correctly. Because, for example, when a voter places their cross on the face of the candidate on the ballot paper, when that happens, it is clear that the intention of the voter can be ascertained, can be determined, because, and that the Electoral Act also allows for that. If a cross is placed on the face of the candidate, that ballot paper should be accepted, and it should be a valid vote. However, what we detected, what we found out is that there are instances where presiding officers have rejected ballot papers which they should have accepted. So that is why I am saying that, in fact, the Electoral Commission, in the first instance, has taken a resolution not to oppose this court application. Okay? And I think that speaks to our non-partisanship, political neutrality, and I think it really speaks to the transparent manner in which we conduct the electoral process as a credible election management body.
The Electoral Court declared null and void the ECN's announcement of the results in the Kavango East Regional Council elections for the Ndonga-Linena constituency, which took place last November and saw SWAPO candidate Michael Kampota sworn in after winning by 12 votes over APP candidate Daniel Jami. According to Muyoro, the ballots to be recounted shall be handled in the same manner as stipulated by the Electoral Act.
All presiding officers will be required to count their ballot papers in the presence of their respective party agents. Once they do that, they will collate the results, and then they will then announce in a prescribed manner the results for their respective polling stations. Once they do that, all presiding officers will be required then to take their polling station tallies to the returning officer, who will also be in the same locality, who would then be expected to consolidate the results from all the polling stations and then make an announcement. So we will replicate the recount process in exactly the manner it occurs as it is done in a given constituency, where people vote at the polling station, the presiding officers count the ballots and announce the results at the polling stations, and then they take their results tallies to a collation center where the returning officer then collates the results and make the announcement in the prescribed manner.
Muyoro also expressed satisfaction with the ECN's performance, noting that this is only the second time in Namibia's history that an electoral court has ordered a recount, the first being in 2009 when the High Court ordered that all ballots in the National Assembly elections be recounted.
Get into character with Ackermans. Gear up with boys' character tees, 2 for only 80. And girls' character tees, 2 for only 80. You save $19.90 in sizes up to ages 10. Complete the look with character flip-flops for only $39.95. Only at Ackermans.
Every Saturday at 7 p.m., you can stay true to Namibia sounds with the Valentine's True Music Sessions. Only on 99 FM. Stay tuned. Stay true. There's no wrong way. Valentine's. Not for sale to persons under the age of 18. Drink responsibly.
A young woman is threatening to take her life and that of her baby after she found out that her child's father is having an affair with his lady friend. This was discovered during an operation with members of Nampol's Community Affairs Department who have been attending to cases of family disputes, love triangles, witchcraft allegations and fraudulent acts within local communities.
In a recent case, 2 ladies were caught up in a love triangle, with one viciously manipulating and playing mind games to discredit the one who bore a child with a man they are both in a relationship with.
Konu ekudropa ile kuliamweni akuveka pretending as a sister-in-law. Do you understand? Stand up. Ndetotalele komesho, ndetotalakucha omalamunyo otaikundulile peni. Okuikufa mwenyo is not a solution. Paifa shati wopinga akupaja mushe nga wonsamane amushota mwala kuidipara. Nulona vengeta muvatipara. Medinalo numenu ngauke. It's not right, Asho. So if a person on I think I'm done. Let it be. If you have to ask, why do you have to end the relationship in this way? Let him explain. If he does not explain, let it be. It's difficult, it's painful, it's heartbroken. But life, with time, it will heal. Maita should be your first and the last time playing someone's role or main mind in that way. You cannot go and pretend as a sister-in-law of this lady, Omanga Ushikucha, you are a girlfriend of the guy. It is a very bad thing. What about your life? It's very dangerous. You don't do that. That's why we said, Monamibiane, we women, we don't want to support each other. We don't love one another. We don't want to lift each other up. We are too jealous about one another. We must not do that. Na tukalenya kulukati tiholeni, hati supporteni, tunenga mbili na bakwetu. Ongera na mbili na ave, less problem. What you mind? What you care? Distance yourself from somebody who does not even care, either does not want to see you. You are volunteer cometica conampo, and the gentleman is a nampo member. Seisha Tutinga will deploy the gentleman with a firearm. Anger comes. What if he starts shooting? We don't want that. Let's accept what is there. This is not the end of the world. Only pick what you think is right, what you think is gonna build you. Otuditi condition now. Kapeno kuijipa ya pakaya, kapuno kuijipa ya no kana kaya. Kesho mwadele fikuroe, kesho mwe fikuroe, kesho mwa living a life ayo, kesho mwa jaka ambuleni, kesho mwa jaka familia yo.
Tukwa ngone ya tambako. I want peace between us, but I don't want this lady to be texting or calling me.
Okay.
I personally can apologize to her. Maybe I offended her in any ways, but since she's saying she ended up here, I'm also ending here.
Okay, to me, Fana, ya clearly getting I. Dostoi te khulilo ponga de atusha tu diwa maponga shi chifiati. Dia mapogani bakan. Dono dimi mapa ikendo ga mi te ikomish. Amega dina problem aga. I don't have any problem.
Following the discussions to resolve the issue between the trio, it was discovered that the young woman is also facing a charge of fraud.
Nashinda dingi facing ka message na tumino. Amunduka kai tie mandi ti. Amama dati ay andia nindi kwa tumbanga ani mkuta ni katara mkuta ka sangeni ndini kati basina imako. Ndike kunya.
Ndisheringa kuti message kuti yengi toite imari wayo ngao.
I can take action. Okay, I can do so. Otuko mo dilo mo kai.
Imari wo uperange message kwashi.
Madiku pamoja na longoti. Wati uno kwa tena.
Uchoma ni utenge keshikira kimokuna nongoti. Tofunjo biko to shiri.
Ndika imari
300 tata. 300. Te hape go 200 anatamko. Ame 200 tatoa kwa 200 kwa aisa yashike. That nyengo 300 aiwa kwa kwanza kwa li kwa 200. MS ndio mtani mongoti yangu.
MS ndio dipe ndika mshi. MS ndio mo dilo munga ngi kwa tonda. Okay, kaze na ndo ndima yashike.
Ndima mari yashike ngapi? Nokono 1000 ndio topeke shishika. 500 na 500.
Yala kuni ndiko. Mata siwezi ndaki sado mo dilo munga hapa. Ndio ndima yashike. Tani imari washike. Bemo kwa kutumia imari washaka jana. Kwa ndatumina imari mara utakutinga imari wa. Mara pomba tapepe nona mpaka pena chimba bagenda kushina.
The accused was ordered to pay back the 1,000 Namibian dollars she owed, but only managed to give 500 Namibian dollars in cash. She was left with a warning to change her ways of doing things or she will be arrested.
An almost fatal shootout between the police and suspected criminals occurred on 1st Arend Street in Commersdal today. One suspect suffered 3 gunshot wounds and is currently in hospital under police surveillance.
The incident occurred between 13 and 1400 hours at the First Rand and Moses Garup intersection in Commersdal.
Around about 2 o'clock past 1, members was on normal patrol. Right at the corners of First Arend and Moses Garup, they came across a white Volkswagen Polo, and this Polo happened to run straight into the police car.
The 4 suspects in the white VW Polo allegedly jumped out of the vehicle and fired shots at the police.
And as they jump out of the car, they start shooting at officers, maybe not knowing what is what. So as a result, shooting out start, and then police officers retaliated, and there were 4 in the car. 1 was shot and wounded, is currently in the hospital.
3 suspects, according to Basson, managed to escape from the scene, while 1 sustained 3 gunshot wounds and is currently recovering in hospital under police surveillance.
In the car, in the Polo car, we recover 3 suspected illegal firearms. So I must say on the onset that the suspect that is shot and in hospital is one of the most wanted criminals of recent days. So he is currently in the police guard in the hospital, and the streets for now is safe. 3 firearms are removed from the street, and we are happy that we can make that recovery.
Police cordoned off the entire intersection. Pedestrians and vehicles had to use a different route. The Commerce Regional Commander Ismail Basson confirmed that they found 3 illegal firearms in the white VW Polo.
Get ready to enjoy Simba's sounds of flavor.
All the Simba flavors. Let's roll. Liza, smoked beef. Kwanga finiga. Shaya chocolate. Shakita mud.
Together we roar because Simba roars with flavor.
Why do we do it? Cover up, tone down, hide, instead of choosing boldness. Celebrate the skin you're in with Nivea Rich Nourishing. Our triple layered care of deep moisture serum, natural almond oil, and vitamin E enriches your skin for 48 hours. It's time to show off your best skin. Choose to wear your skin with pride every time with Nivea Rich Nourishing.
The Student Union of Namibia recently took up the matter of a learner who was kicked out of the hostel for poor academic performance. The union had several interactions with the Grootfontein High School and came to an agreement to allow her back in the hostel after realizing that they had made a mistake.
After our engagement, positive result came out. They started running around. The inspector got active, including the whole directory. So that same day, then it was resolved. As we are speaking, the learner is back in the hostel. So we can't say we are celebrating any victory, but we will say victory is to the father. We thank him for bravery, for standing on his toes, representing the daughter by reporting to us. We would like to thank him 100%. At the same time, we could say democracy has won in this case. So we have good policy on the table, but people still don't follow them.
The president of the Student Union of Namibia stated that individuals are already calling their officers to report that there are further problems at Grootfontein High School and that the union will soon embark on a regional visit to assess the situation on the ground.
You know, the school itself, I think for some reason they are not comfortable that we have defeated them, but we are not saying it's a defeat, it's a correction. And we are also wondering now, we asked ourselves, if in this case, I think someone did something wrong, what punishment would be given to that person? We have a history in Namibia whereby educators, they do something wrong, they marginalize learners, but they are just left for free. But we are cautious and we told them, should this thing happen, we are no more going to wait table discussion. We will definitely lock the schools if we have to. And I think it must be for the first time that we take someone to court. Maybe that's the only way people will start respecting. So there's no assurance that was given. All they said is the learners reinstated back, and we hope they will learn from their mistake. I saw already, you see, on the comment there, some were making noise that we don't know what we are doing. But I think it tells them that as we really mean business here, we will not compromise on anything. Anything that we identify which is in the best interest of the learner will definitely address it. Well, after research, we have seen that the school has a past history of racism. Remember, this is an old school where there was white dominance and white supremacy. So I think after looking in that, if they are saying there might be bigger issues, we can only tell that after we do a proper investigation. And in fact, we are going to establish our branch there. We already have one, but it's not so active. So that branch, it will help us.
Kaval further warned schools to not treat learners unfairly, but to treat everyone equally.
Agri Provision will, for the month of October, host 3 individual online courses in commercial pig production, hydroponics, aquaponics and free-range poultry production aimed towards farm workers, supervisors and managers.
Manager for Brand and Communications at Agra Limited, Namibia's leading agriculture industry player, explains that the online trainings are hosted for those making a living from the agricultural sector.
Agra Provision hosts these training modules and they've done it live, and it's a variety of topics pertaining to agriculture and for people who are in some way, shape or form, farming or use agriculture as a means to either feed themselves or to make an income. Due to COVID, due to the nature of the world, we've decided to go a little bit more digital with it. So we have 3 of these courses through our partners at Training Bunny. We're going to be done completely online from here on out, and that has to do with commercial pig production, poultry production, and then our very popular hydroponic and aquaponic systems. So those are the 3 different areas of focus that we're starting with at the moment. And I have to say that all of these have been done before, and these are very, very popular courses. A lot of people are farming chickens. A lot of people are trying to do the hydro and aquaponic systems or ways to be able to grow vegetables and crop with really, really good use of scarce water resources. Okay, so online training in Namibia has grown rather rapidly. We also offer the Agra Agricultural Academy, which is sort of more higher certificate national diploma level education in agriculture, and we've had a lot of interest in that. Now, we've never done this on the short courses before. It starts on the 1st of October, so it's going to be brand new, and we're really, really hoping that people are going to jump on board for this.
Other training areas of Agra Provision include basic farm management, livestock management, horticulture, animal nutrition and feeding plans, amongst others.
It's easy for people to think that it's only COVID related and being locked up, but it's not just that. Namibia is a very, very big country, and there's a lot of people who are involved with agriculture, nationwide. Agra itself, we have 21 branches spread out all over the country. We try to get to people as much as we can, and it's one of our main drives for the next year is to bring agriculture into your home. And this is a way where we're trying to do this, because it's not just COVID and lockdowns, but there are a lot of people who have other barriers to entry, be it they don't have the means to travel, they have no way to take time off to be able to get to a course during this period, this time, hundreds of kilometers away. That, and then obviously, the finances are an issue for a lot of people. Doing this digitally also allows us to bring the cost of these down quite considerably. So basically what people can do is agra.com.na hosts the Agra Provision page. On there, it has all the information about what the trainings are that we offer. It has prices on these kinds of trainings, and it gives people an idea of exactly the extent to how far they can take their training and their education in general in terms of agriculture in Namibia. Everything is Namibianized, and everything is specifically for Namibia.
We can't wait to be together again. But until then, let's stay safe.
In other leading stories, the Namibia University of Science and Technology will this week host the 8th graduation ceremony of the Commercial Advancement Training Scheme, which was first launched in 2005. The CATS initiative was developed in partnership with the Wolfish Bay Corridor Group, Capacity Building International, and the Institute for Management and Leadership Training. The 2-year program is built on the German traineeship model, in which individuals undergo 4 days of work-based training and attend academic lectures for 2 days per week. This theoretical training component is supported by NUST from the curriculum design to implementation stages, as the lectures take place on the NUST campus. Individuals enrolled in the CATS program study towards a diploma in business process management, NQF level 6. Upon completion, they are able to enroll for a range of other qualifications at NUST. Industry involvement is an essential aspect of the CATS program, and a number of private sector firms are affiliated to the initiative as CATS member companies. These are the organizations with whom the CATS participants are placed for the work-based training component of the program. Since its inception, the CATS program has seen an enrollment of 257 individuals, with 109 of those seeing it through to completion. 51 individuals are enrolled in the CATS program for 2021, and 20 graduated from the program today. And Bank Windhoek has announced the completion of the second phase of its rollout of cash deposit ATMs in Namibia's northern, coastal and central regions. This development follows the successful trial and testing phase of its first cash deposit ATMs at Katatura, Wolfish Bay, Khoisekmund and Marula Mall branches earlier this year. Bank Windhoek's National Operations Manager David Nell says though the initial rollout was limited to a test and trial basis, they have extremely positive feedback from customers indicating a growing demand for self-service channels. During September, Bank Windhoek installed cash deposit ATMs in Ondangwa, Ongwediva, Otapi, its main and Capricorn branches, as well as Platz am Meer in Swakopmund. Nell added that the self-service aspect would allow customers to save time and experience accident service options across various channels in terms of customer convenience, emphasizing that all Bank Windhoek ATMs are located at secure locations with additional security officers present to ensure customer safety and peace of mind.
BBC's Smart Money program presents an exciting new technology segment dubbed Smart Tech.
Ghana have a problem of unemployment, also the problem of housing and schools under trees. Now Plus wants to use the problem of plastic waste to solve the problem of schools under trees, housing and create more jobs for the youth in the country.
Bonjour. Hello, I am Saoudou Niang, director of the Palms Luxury Boutique Hotel in Dakar. I started by cleaning a toilet. Today, I am the manager of my own 5-star hotel boutique with 60 employees.
To give more people access to these life-saving vaccines, South Africa and India have proposed a waiver of COVID-19 patents, and the move seems to be gathering momentum after receiving the backing of the United States. But even if the patent waiver is indeed granted, can Africa manufacture these vaccines at scale?
Surprise! It's OK's Big Birthday Surprises. Win your share of $300,000 in instant cashback surprises. Buy any participating product and swipe to enter. Plus, get store country spread for a low $36.99. Be Well Extra Virgin Olive Oil and Canola Oil Blend for just $48.99. And Sunlight Hand Washing Powder for a surprising $39.99. Only...
Joseph Shifeni is standing by for today's edition of Business on One and Economic Indicators.
Welcome to this evening's edition of Business on One. I'm Joseph Shifeni. For the first time since 2019, the gross domestic product GDP performance indicates that the economy recorded a positive growth for the second quarter of 2021. This information was released by the Namibia Statistics Agency, NSA, for the months of April, May and June. The Namibian economy recorded a growth of 1.6% for the second quarter of this year. According to the Statistician General of the NSA, the main contributor for this positive figure was the tertiary sector. The economy has been on a negative trajectory since 2019, when a growth of 4.7% was recorded.
We recorded a positive growth of 1.6% during the second quarter of 2021. Now, if you compare to the same period of last year, it was actually a decline of 11.6%. So we are talking about coming from a minus 11.6 to plus 1.6%. If you look at the dollar figures, we are saying that in nominal terms, the GDP stood at 43.3 billion in the quarter under review, relative to 42.8 billion posted in the same quarter of 2020. So you see the difference of, I think, around $500 million increase from the previous quarter to the current quarter. In real terms, the improved performance in the economy was driven by the tertiary industries that posted positive growth. The positive performances were observed in, maybe not surprisingly, the hotels and restaurants sector. And this is mainly due to the relaxation of the COVID-19 regulations. Also, together with the rollout of the COVID-19 vaccines, I believe that help people to also move around, protect themselves, and then also move around. This sector registered solid growth of 34.3% in real value added, compared to a decline of 50% registered in the corresponding quarter of 2020. I think if you're talking about the second quarter last year, this is really when, I think it's also where we had a total lockdown, the month of April last year. And then there was a decline of 50% in the last year, the same quarter. But for this year, we have an improvement of 34.3%.
Chimoafeni, however, pointed out that the primary and secondary sectors performed poorly, except for the fishing industry.
However, we also saw poor results in the primary and secondary industries that were registering negative growth rates, with the exception of the fishing sector, which bounced back and posted a positive growth of 13.8% in real value added, relative to a decline of 16.4% in the same quarter of last year. The primary sectors remain under pressure as a result of reduced marketing activities of livestock, while crops suffered from locust outbreak and poor rainfalls in some parts of the country. Furthermore, it is observed that there was a reduced production in the mining sector, resulting from low demand for primary commodities. I believe the focus was on health issues of COVID and so on. This spilled over to the manufacturing industries, resulting in reduced input for some of the sectors, causing an overall negative performance, albeit improving. The mining sector thus registered a decline of 1.5% in real value added, while the manufacturing sector posted a decline of 5%. The ICT, or Information and Communication sector, continued on a positive trend, recording a growth of 7.9% in real value added in the second quarter of 2021, compared to a strong growth of 17.9% registered in the corresponding quarter of 2020. And I think we all know that with the starting of COVID and the lockdowns, this sector really did well in terms of performance because of the demand. And I think now we also have hybrid systems of in-person meetings and then also online. Maybe that's explanation in terms of the growth that is not so higher compared to last year.
Asked by Business on One as to whether Namibia will maintain the momentum heading into the next quarter, the NSA said unlike other institutions such as the Central Bank, they do not provide forecasts on the performance of the economy in the foreseeable future. And that is all we have for you. Be sure to join me again next time, and don't forget to follow us on our social media pages.
Are you a CMAS member? Did you know that should you need medical treatment, you have access to quality private hospitalization, guaranteed specialist treatment in private hospitals across Namibia with Compliment Gap? Compliment Gap is a complimentary product for CMAS members only, which covers the shortfall between what CMAS pays and private hospitals charge. You and your family have more than 2 million in medical gap cover per year at a very affordable price. That's not all. You also have access to emergency evacuation within Namibia and $10 million international travel cover for those unforeseen events abroad. Take the financial burden off your shoulders. Invest in your family's health. SMS GAP to 999 555 and we'll contact you. Terms and conditions apply.
Every Saturday at 7 p.m., you can stay true to Namibia Sounds with the Valentine's True Music Sessions. Only on 99 FM. Stay tuned. Stay true. There's no wrong way. Valentine's. Not for sale to persons under the age of 18. Drink responsibly.
Time now for Comments Corner, your daily dose of comments from our social media pages. The Landless People's Movement has told the Affirmative Repositioning Movement that if they want a fight, they will surely get one. This comes after the movement exposed a matter that occurred in Aranos, in which an individual obtained a driving post illegally from the town council. Swartboy has requested that AR activist-in-chief Dom Amupanda call his boys to order. Shikundiko says Swartboy must control his emotions, adding that we can all learn from one another. Mr. Pierre says some leaders are covered with anger that they can't see corruption anymore. Apollo says corruption was exposed, adding that Swartboy should rather celebrate that and call his councillors to order. Willem notes that the AR's job, Amupanda, should concentrate on the city's problems and keep his nose out of other people's business. Wilbard says Namibian opposition parties are not united, that's why they cannot defeat the ruling party. While Erastus says wrong is wrong and it must be exposed. That is all from Comments Corner. Be sure to post your comments on our social media pages for broadcast only on Today on One.
Full of cheers. Tafolaga, Namibian like you.
Hi there, parents. Do you have primary school kids and want them to get extra quality supplementary lessons to up their grades? Then simply switch to One Africa TV's #LearnOnOne, where your kids can get maths, English and science lessons every weekday from 9 to 11 a.m. with repeats from 2 to 4 p.m. And thanks to Animators My Zone, these lessons are 100% Namibian. There's so much to learn with #LearnOnOne. Invite learning in.
Time now for our sports update with Charo Musiandaka.
Welcome to Sports on One. I'm Charo Musiandaka. The newly appointed interim coach of the women's senior football team, Woody Jacobs, recently spoke about his 2 weeks in training as well as how preparations are going as the 2021 COSAFA Women's Championship draws closer. More on this story from our sports desk.
Sonata is a very important player for the team. She has been over the years, but I had this discussion today with some people, not in particular because of Sonata. I'm talking about the team context. I'm advocating for a team and not a one-man show, because even if you have the one person in the team that's a star, you still need the rest of the team to do well. And I think we've over-relied a lot on Sonata, and we've put her also, in my opinion, and I stand to be corrected, in my opinion, we've put her under a lot of pressure. And there's quality players that I believe can steal the show and highlight themselves to women football in the region, in COSAFA, and then also in African women football.
Despite missing one of his key players and captain Zenata Coleman, newly appointed Brave Gladiators gaffer says that he is confident with the team that is currently in camp. Jacobs also raised concern for the lack of friendlies. Nonetheless, he is happy with the team's friendly games played thus far.
We would have wanted her to be there because we are preparing, like I said, for the Tanzania match, but I want the team to come through. And they will come through, because I believe there's good quality players in all departments, and it's that time to shine. It's that time to show that. But I believe more in the team. The only thing that I would say that's lacking a bit is the fact that we don't have quality friendly matches. But this also that you just witnessed is also good preparation, because it at least get the girls to get out and play a game, even if it's against our under 20 girls that's also preparing for big competition. So yeah, it's going well.
Furthermore, just 2 weeks in training, Woody Jacobs said that preparations are going well and are currently working on tactics, as the COSAFA's Women's Championship match against Uganda is just a week away.
Basically, we're just trying to get the girls into shape through training routines, and trying to get them to play to a style that I believe, and the coaching staff, we've talked about it, that will do justice to the attributes that the girls has. I think it's important that we look at our weaknesses and we look at our strengths and try and maximize them, and come up with a philosophy or at least a style of play that can suit our girls. For a coach and a coach of my experience, and I think I don't need a lot to look at the girls. I know them, I know what they're capable of, and we are pushing them to get to that. We don't know much about Uganda. It's an unknown factor for us, but that can be twofold in the fact that it can be a bad thing in the sense that you don't know what to expect, but it can also be a good thing, so that we don't care, and we play to our best, and we play to our strengths, and take them on. I believe it's a game that, despite our hiccups and despite the preparation not being the most ideal, but COVID has created that, so that we cannot travel anywhere, so that we can play quality friendlies and to gauge the team and their performance. It also leaves us with the X factor of the unknown, and the excitement and the enthusiasm that I've seen in the girls thus far. And I believe that come next week, Thursday, we'll be ready and ready to take on the might of Uganda.
At the Gladiators friendly versus the under-20 baby Gladiators, who will be playing in Burundi, Today on One Sports also caught up with ever-present Brave Gladiators defender Emma Nares to find out about the team's preparation with the new boss at the helm.
The preparations are going very well. The team is bonding as we thought it will be. We are happy with the new coach and his new tactics. We hope that the team will do well. We are going to COSAFA to go compete, not to go participate and prepare for Tanzania. We are hoping to go to the next round.
The Brave Gladiators are expected to participate at the 9th edition of the COSAFA Women's Championship from the 28th of September until the 9th of October 2021. Namibia is drawn in Group C alongside Zambia, Eswatini and Uganda.
Well, that's all the time we have for you this evening. Join us again tomorrow evening for more Sports on One, and don't forget to follow us on our social media pages. Back to you, Maggie.
Thanks a lot, Charo. For the latest in sports, time now to take a look at the weather forecast.
Time now for the weather forecast. The interior will be sunny and hot in the south. Elsewhere, partly cloudy and hot, but very hot in the north. The coast will be partly cloudy and mild to warm, and wind will be moderate to fresh southwesterly. Now let's have a look at the minimum and maximum temperatures across the country and beyond.
That is all we have for you. Join us again for a repeat at 9:30, 6 a.m. and the Omnibus Saturdays from 9 to 4. From me, Maggie Forciero, and the rest of the team, till next time, it's good night.
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future. A hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IUM.
This fishing community on Mozambique's northern coast has been hit hard. People here are suffering from high rates of malnutrition, but that's not all. The greatest concern is the high rates of HIV infection and AIDS, the main cause of death in adults and young people across Mozambique. Poor nutrition makes it even more difficult for people to fight the disease. 21-year-old Alima Artur is the daughter of one of these fishermen. A few years ago, she suddenly started suffering from an unknown illness.
Me encontrei desesperada, totalmente triste. Minha vida só era chorar. Pensei que já estava a ir já.
All this changed the day Alima met Arlette Anna Abel from a project called Chapani. With support from IFAD, the International Fund for Agricultural Development, and the Belgian Fund for Food Security, staff from Chapani work with villagers to combat the dual threats of HIV and malnutrition. When Alima tested positive for HIV and AIDS, Arlette encouraged her to form a support group. Alima chose her father and aunt, who helped her to stay optimistic and healthy. In fact, teaching people to eat well is an important part of Arlette's work.
Eu ensinei elas para que pudesse enriquecer os alimentos para ela poder as hemoglobinas não baixarem. Então, já se alimenta agora de verduras, não só do peixe.
As part of the Chapani project, cooking demonstrations are held for everyone in the community. The session today features the highly nutritious moringa plant, a fast-growing, drought-resistant tree unknown to many locally. Now it has become a popular item in the local cuisine. Maria Machambi, who is not HIV positive, is learning to create her own garden with more than 6,000 other families in the area. The idea is spreading quickly throughout the community, with locally trained volunteers now leading the process.
They share their ideas with their neighbors and everyone gets excited. For us, that is key. Once communities own the process and they don't need an external person to tell them how to cook food, how to prepare it, they do it within themselves.
The success of the project has motivated IFAD to expand nutrition education across the nation over the next 3 years. Meanwhile, Alima is playing a key role in spreading the word about healthy living. Through songs, she informs people about safeguarding against HIV and AIDS, adopting healthy eating habits, and learning to cope with the disease.
Vela, mira para só. Sabe, uma pessoa pode me ver, não saber que eu tenho esse tipo de problema. Hã? Estou bem, hein? Viste?
And with more than 10% of Mozambique's adult population infected with HIV, this message has never been more pertinent. This report was produced by Jonathan Elliott for the United Nations.
Omba Arts Trust is not just an organization for me. I think of it in the form of a person, a mother and a friend I have walked and grew with. A friend whom I've traveled many remote and dusty roads. A sister who provided so much needed support during times of fear and uncertainty.
Kamang agke kumta akwa kama kali khatani umqa uqaba ka harasiko am qatqon ikake ngasheni kubiya umasi ngqatqosi ngani Oako ogo musa omkazua tai na akazua tai kuku amta akan kete kaka kwasi aka kwasi to kudu akaka kai tani duchi sake
kumi kubuka kana borka kana kumka
thank you.
There is a saying in Damara for people such as Omba, which is which simply means someone who will, with love, exchange your lean piece of meat with their fat one. It might sound simple when translated, but when used towards a loved and appreciated person, it gives such honor. It describes a person who will do everything to make sure you are taken care of. Besides, we all know how the Damaras love their meat.
No. Sitsi Maria. Good. You want to put it near the
I have seen Omba grow and turn into a light of hope for Namibians all over Namibia. I have seen women and men grow as individuals, becoming respected members of their communities, but also valuable providers of their families. I have seen people with no hope in their eyes light up when they see Omba arrive to fulfill a promise which was made and which they did not believe will be kept. I have seen women dance and sing for hours until the dust from their feet covers us all because the old friend has arrived. I've seen women standing up in front of a large number of people and express their hopes and dreams. I've seen people who have never left their village travel hours and hours to other countries and share their culture and experiences. I have seen children grow and become young women and men before my very eyes. Omba has been the sister holding hands throughout it all. Omba has built valuable and strong relationship with communities, empowering both women and men, but the impact on women can be seen and felt most sincerely. The work with the women has such a ripple effect all over the whole village, most especially the young. Omba has taught them to fish. As times grow tougher and much more difficult, money becomes scarce. Environment around us changes and nothing will ever be the same again. In times like this is when we realize the value of a friend like Omba. It provides hope, constant support, reliable income, and keeping us all together, keeping our pots filled and our fires burning. A motivation to do better, live better, and expect better. If one day the unthinkable happens and Omba is no more, it will be a sad time for our Namibian rural population. Therefore, let's keep the light burning at all cost.
Ons die Sanmense is die eerste mense in die wêreld wat vandag agter gaan staan. Omba is nou die water wat vir ons nat maak. Dat onze wortels mooi groeien, dat ons vruchten kan brengen, kos kan brengen. Omba gee vir ons werk. En van daaraf leven ons.
It's just an amazing story that ostrich eggshell beads, 72,000 years ago, the ancestors of the San were making ostrich eggshell beads, and today in the 2020s Jinko women are still making those beads pretty much in the same way, and the work has evolved from fairly traditional products. This probably would have been worn like this, into something as sophisticated and contemporary as this necklace from the waterfall range. So here we are bringing the necklace to this gallery in Windhoek and generating income for women, Junko women back in the Kalahari. So it's just an amazing thread of history that goes to this ostrich egg, to this contemporary jewellery. This basket I absolutely love. It's a finely woven basket in natural dyes. This asymmetry is very unique to Namibian baskets. And we've been working with these women, doing workshops and helping them evolve into these incredibly fine baskets. We've worked with the women developing different palettes, and there's another one with a slightly more yellow palette, but considered are the best baskets in Africa. What we're showing you in this short video is really a long journey of working together with rural communities, reviving ancient traditions, turning them into contemporary world-class products, and supporting the livelihoods of over 400 artisans. Even during COVID-19, we've been helping our sand communities with food and distribution of tippy taps. What we need to do now is to honour the trust that has been put in us over the last 30 years, to support marginalised sand communities and the livelihoods of rural women around Namibia. Your donation will help us get our 400 artisans back to work as soon as possible so that they can feed their families. The lives of their 2,000 family members will directly benefit from this. Please help us raise $50,000 by contributing to the Omba Artisan C19 Support Fund. No matter how big or small, this will make a difference in the lives of our artisans during COVID-19. Thank you.
Thank you.